Saquon Barkley, who has basically been interviewed potentially, if in fact he's on the Chargers' radar, if we can't come to a deal with Austin Eckler, lots of breakdowns between him and what he will mean to Greg Roman's offense. More of that here on Chargers Syndicate. Going on, you guys? Jake Silva here on Chargers Syndicate, where you can get everything Chargers news. If it is your first time, I encourage you guys to like, follow, and subscribe. Hit the bell button and keep you up to date on future and past videos of everything Chargers news and more. So the latest of this is it's just basically rumors right now where potentially free agent running back Saquon Barkley was on a interview and was basically asked if in fact there's a possibility of joining with the Chargers. And his quote on this is, "I got nothing but respect for Coach Harbaugh. I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert. If the opportunity presented itself, I wouldn't be against it." So Saquon Barkley, who's going to be coming off as a free agent this up and coming off season, he is basically rumored to be one of the biggest running back pieces on the market that most teams would like to keep an eye on. And Saquon Barkley, his name's been kind of thrown around with the Chargers when Jim Harbaugh kind of hinted a little bit of the idea of having a solid runner like him as a part of the Chargers offense if, in fact, Austin Eckler does not end up getting a deal and he ends up walking and goes and signs with a different team. But I'm not opposed to having a guy like Saquon Barkley, as, of course, his types of offense is. He's a guy that's an elite rusher. I think if you're giving him the best offensive line possible to at least spread some holes and spread some gaps for him to run through where he can get at least, I would say maybe 5+ yards more on the carry, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Saquon Barkley throughout his career with the Giants from 2018 to 2023 has had some solid numbers, but except from during the times from 2019 to 21, he did suffer injuries from here and there. But his rookie year in 2018, where he had 261 carries with 1,307 yards on the ground and 11 scores as part of that in his rookie season, he's shown a lot of big-time positive, a lot of positive hopes for the Giants. But as injuries started to linger on, but part of this was dysfunctions at a head coach and so much more that kind of rallied by that. In 2022, where this was the newest hire of Brian Daboll, his production started to explode. He had career highs in carries, in rushing yards, and then ended up almost getting to his career high of touchdown scores as well. So in 22, he had 295 carries with 1,312 rushing yards, averaging at least 4.4 yards a carry and getting 10 scores on top of that. So Saquon, as long as he's on a consistent offense, which really does work well on the run and what new offensive coordinator Greg Roman is trying to instill in the Chargers, because since Justin Herbert's rookie year, they've been terrible on the run on the ground. So that's where a lot of improvements the Chargers are really trying to work and rally on. But I think Saquon Barkley, he'd be a perfect fit for it. And I think because of the mentality and because of now the culture that, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers are really trying to change up, this is not a bad scenario for Saquon Barkley to really be a part of and to bring himself on board to an offense that's really looking to win right now is going to bring a lot of positive hopes for the Chargers and for Saquon Barkley in the long run. As a guy who's been a part of the league now for the last 6 years, he's been a guy that is still right now, he's got a lot of juice in the tank. He's 27 years old, so he's still in his prime. But I know injuries and whatnot really does linger on. But here's the thing. What is it that the Chargers have that the Giants don't have? What they do have is they do have a healthy offensive line, and they are going to work to bring more depth to that line so that it ensures Justin's got plenty of protection. And if Saquon comes aboard to the Chargers offense, then that means that there's going to be more openings and more gaps to basically push over and give Saquon more chances and more opportunities to run for more consecutive yards. So I feel like this could be a really good fit for the Chargers if, in fact, what happens with Austin Eckler, because there were rumors and there were newses that, one, he was ready to leave the team, and then another, once Jim Harbaugh got on board, he didn't really want to leave the team. So which is it? I think personally, I would be very, very riskful when it comes to sending a running back his third contract, because usually that third contract doesn't really work out. But giving Saquon an opportunity, I'd say ballpark around 2-3 years, respectfully, for a running back, and giving him his dues. Because one, the Giants' dysfunction is they paid the wrong guy the extension, and that was Daniel Jones, the quarterback. When Saquon was at his career high, he wasn't even compensated well for it. So to me, that kind of feels like that's a stab in the back. But at least the Chargers know what his value is, what his worth is, that if he comes into an offense where he doesn't even have to worry about, does he have to put the team on his back? Does he have to basically carry them? Because this is not old school football. In this case, because he's going into an offense with a fully loaded weaponry and at the same time a healthy offensive line, and probably one of the most generational quarterbacks in Justin Herbert, he doesn't have to worry about putting the team up on his back. So Saquon Barkley can come in as a guy that, is willing to give you all the effort and all of the potentials on the ground for him to basically run for 5+ more yards on the ground. That would be a huge get for the Chargers. And this would then allow maybe multiple guys on the depth chart to either step up, or maybe keeping up some situational backs, or maybe, and I'm kind of hinting this, that if this was the case, that you send Saquon Barkley here to the Chargers, I wouldn't be opposed for the Chargers to maybe potentially get a running back. And my only hope, crossing my fingers, they go and they draft a guy like Blake Corum. I just think he works. I think he works along with Jim Harbaugh. He's got much respect for Jim Harbaugh. But at the same time, this is a team that's really needing to work up on the ground, because you could find situational backs that could basically be pass catchers, because that's what's the Chargers been their identity for the last couple of years since they moved on from Melvin Gordon. But you could find guys like that. And I don't think this is really a problem for the Chargers to really find the replacement. But I think if you put the right guy in the right culture, you're going to get the best out of a lot of that from that player. So I think I'm not opposed to this move. I think that if it really does speak for itself, I'd say probably a 2-3 year contract probably seems about fair. I think you can make this work. And I think Saquon Barkley, he'll give you the runs, he'll give you the efforts. And I think he's honestly going to love this culture with Jim Harbaugh and with Greg Roman, knowing he's going to run the ball very, very heavily and allow for sneaky plays that Justin Herbert has, of either throwing the ball deep downfield, or maybe potentially going for aggressive plays on quarterback sneaks, or possibly going and throwing straight passes to where they could potentially go into the red zone or find their way into the end zone for more scores. That's going to do it here for me on Charger Syndicate. Jake Silva signing off. I encourage you guys to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button to keep you up to date on more Chargers news and more. And we will have another video here for you on the next video section of Charger Syndicate. Take care, you guys.